Welcome to Chris Cook for You Too. Today we're going to be making Blackberry Cobbler. Now, I showed you how to make peach cobbler the other day, and pretty much all of the cobblers, you can follow the same recipe. The only thing you have to do is to change just a few of the ingredients with every different fruit that you're actually using. Now, this is my all-time favorite cobbler in the world. I can sit down and enjoy this at every single meal if I had it like that. So I'm going to show you how to make it, and I think that you're truly going to enjoy this. Of course, you're going to need the blackberries, and that's what blackberries look like. And today I'm going to use fresh blackberries. When I made the peach cobbler, I used canned peaches, but I found these fresh blackberries, so I'm going to use them. You're going to need some water when you get ready to cook your blackberries. You're going to need, we're doing this again, we're using the Pillsbury pie crust. Now, if you want to use your own homemade pie crust, by all means go ahead and do that. But this tastes just as good, and you don't have to slave in your kitchen in order to get it made. We're going to need some vanilla extract. I'm using cornstarch, but you can use flour for this. A lot of people do use flour. I just enjoy the thickness of the cornstarch, so I'm going to use that. Sugar. You're going to need the juice from a half lemon, and you're going to need some butter. That's all you need in order to make this delicious cobbler. So I'm going to go away, get my blackberries all washed, and I'll meet you at the stove. Be right. Okay, I just wanted to come right back and show you that this is the way that your pie crust will look, because of course this is what it is that you're going to be actually getting from the store. So we're going to use one of these, and I'm going to do it the same way that I did the when I made the peach cobbler. You're going to cut it in 1-inch pieces, and I'm going to use every bit of this for the dumpling and the crust for the blackberry cobbler. And I'm just going to put some pieces down over in here. So this is just going to be some little strips that's going to help with making this cobbler oh so delicious. Now, some people will layer the whole bottom, and then they'll just prick little holes inside of the pie crust in order to give them more dough. But I find that it sucks up a lot of my juice when I do it that way, and I don't want that. I want this blackberry cobbler to be very juicy. So the way that I'm going to do it is just put strips, because if I'm just putting strips, it won't suck up as much of the juice that's going to be in the bottom. So just wanted to show you this, and then I'll meet you at the stove. Be right back. Now I'm at the stove, and I just put my blackberries inside of the pot, and I'm going to pour 1.5 cups of water in here. Only 1.5 cups of that, and I'm going to go ahead and put in 1/2 stick of butter. Only 1/2 stick, and I'm going to put in my sugar, and this is 2 cups of sugar. Okay. Now, I'm going to allow this to come up to a boil. I haven't put the vanilla flavor in yet. I haven't put the lemon juice in. And I did take 1/4 cup of water, and I added to it 2.5 heaping tablespoons of cornstarch. Now, you can use flour, like I said, if you want to. I don't want to use flour. I want to use cornstarch as my thickening agent, because that's just my oven. I preheated my oven to 350 degrees. I'm going to allow this to cook for about 40 minutes. Now, with this, I'm just using the cornstarch, because this is my thickening agent, and it thickens a whole lot better for me in less amount of time. So I'm going to use this, but that's 1/2 cup of water and 2.5 tablespoons of cornstarch, and they're heaping tablespoons. So I'm going to allow this to come up to a boil, and once it comes up to a boil, I'm going to bring you back. I'm not going to try to burst loose all of the blackberries, but I am going to burst loose some of them, and I will show you that when I come back. So I'll be right back. Okay, so it's at this point, and as you can see, it's boiling quite heavily, and I did just take the back of my spoon and I smashed up some of them. Just a few of them, just to get that juice out. So it's at this point that I'm going to cut my stove off from the top, and I'm going to add my vanilla. I'm going to stir that in, and I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of my fresh lemon juice. It smells delicious. And then I'm going to stir that in. Now it's at this point I'm going to go ahead and add my cornstarch. Remember, this is 2.5 heaping tablespoons full to 1/4 cup of water. And it does not take cornstarch long to thicken up. Now, I used 3 12-ounce containers of blackberries. You're not going to use that much. That's because I'm using an oversized pan. The pan that I'm using is a 10 by 13. That's an oversized pan. So I got a lot of blackberries over in here. You'll probably use just 2 packs, and that'll probably be enough for your family. So what I want to show you is that what I did here, when you saw me put the strips in, the only thing I did was just cut my strips once I got them in. Okay? And that's going to act as my dumplings, and I'm going to put a few more in here. But this is ready. And it's going to thicken up even more as it cooks. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pour this over on top of my dumplings. But before I do it, see how it's thickening? See? See how thick it is? And then when the dumplings, they're going to bring in a little bit more of the thickness to this. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this in. Try to turn it sideways. Getting a little bit of a splatter. That's just a little bit. I'll get that off my stove. There you go. Yeah. A little bit off of this. Okay. So now that's ready. So I'm going to take a few more of these dumplings and just tear them up. Put them down over in there. Same way I did with the peach cobbler. No different. And you can just do what I'm doing, and that's breaking this with your hand. Okay. Now, then you're just going to push it down over in there. And then once you get it pushed down in, you're going to take your other roll of pie dough that you had. And you can either just lay it on top and then just punch some holes in it so it'll be able to breathe. Or you can do it like I did the peach cobbler. And that's what I'm going to go for. So I'm just going to go ahead. And I'm going to put this in. So when I get through layering it on this way, okay, get that up just a little bit. Then I'm going to put them across this like this. So what I'll do is, as soon as I get this done, I'll bring it right back, show you what it looks like before I put it in the stove. Be right back. Okay, now I'm back and I've gotten this all done. I want you to take a look at it. That's how it looks. It's completed before you put it into the oven. I just put strips this way, and then of course I layered it across that way. Okay, and you, like I said, you don't have to do it that way. You can just put everything, just layer your top. Just make sure that you put slits in it so that it'll be able to breathe. Now this is going to cook 350 degrees for 40 minutes. I'll bring you back when I'm done. Be right back. We're back and my timer just went off, so I'm going to go ahead and get this out of the oven. There you have it. Blackberry cobbler. And it looks good. It is piping hot. As you can see, it's still bubbling. I'm going to give it about 5 minutes. The good thing about cobblers is that you don't have to wait. You can go ahead and serve them hot, but this is actually still bubbling. So I'm going to allow it to sit just for 5 minutes. Then I'll bring it back and dish you up a plate. But that is a very good cobbler. If you can look at it, the juices on it looks real good. It's flavorful. I think that if you try this, you are going to enjoy it. I'll be back in 5 minutes. Try it. I think you're going to love it. If you like Blackberry Cobbler, you're old school, and this is what you were brought up on, this is the one to try. And as always, thank you for watching. Chris Cook for you too. Bye.